Station smelled like rust and broken dreams. Walked through the crowded market with his head down, pushing past aliens of every shape and color. The station floated at the edge of contested space, far from Earth and far from the laws that governed civilized worlds. It was the kind of place where criminals came to hide and desperate people came to find second chances. Was one of the desperate ones. 3 years ago, he had been a pilot in the Earth Defense Fleet. He had been good at his job, maybe too good. During a battle near the colony of Nu, he had disobeyed a direct order. His commander had told him to hold position while civilian transport ships burned, had broken formation and saved 400 people. The military had called it insubordination. They had taken his rank, his honor, and his future. Now he hauled cargo for shipping guilds that treated humans like machines. The pay was bad. The work was dangerous, but had saved every credit for one purpose. He wanted his own ship. A ship meant freedom. A ship meant he could finally stop taking orders from people who did not care whether he lived or died. The scrapyard sat at the lowest level of the station, where the air was thin and the lights flickered. Mountains of broken ships rose up like metal graves. Had heard stories about this place. The owner, a merchant named, was famous for selling ships that other dealers would not touch. Some of his ships worked perfectly. Others exploded the moment they left the station. The prices were low because the risks were high. Stood behind a counter made from a crashed shuttle door. He had 6 arms, blue skin, and eyes that never stopped moving. When he saw approaching, all 6 of his hands started rubbing together. "Human," said, his voice like gravel scraping against metal. "You come to buy, you come to die. With my ships, sometimes it is the same thing." Placed a credit chip on the counter. "I have 30,000 credits. Show me what that can buy." Laughed. It was not a kind sound. 30,000. I have toilets that cost more than that. But come, always has something for the desperate. They walked through the scrapyard together, showed him ship after ship. Most were barely more than floating coffins, holes in the hull, missing engines, navigation systems that would send him straight into a star. Was starting to lose hope when he saw it. The ship sat alone at the edge of the scrapyard, separated from the others as if it carried some kind of disease. It was sleek and elegant, shaped like a blade cutting through space. The hull was black with lines of silver running through it like veins. Even covered in dust and damage, it was beautiful. "What about that one?" asked. 6 hands all stopped moving at the same time. His eyes went dark. "No, not that one. Pick something else." "Why, what is wrong with it?" "That ship is cursed," said. The word came out like a curse itself. "I have sold it 3 times. 3 times the buyers have brought it back. They did not ask for their money. They did not complain about the damage. They just wanted it gone. They looked afraid, human, terrified. None of them would tell me why." Felt something strange in his chest. It might have been fear. It might have been curiosity. He walked toward the ship anyway. Up close, the damage was more visible. Burn marks covered one side of the hull. Several panels were missing, showing the machinery underneath. But the basic structure was solid. The ship was old, clearly alien technology, but it had been built to last. "How much?" he asked. "You are not listening to me. The ship is cursed. Something is wrong with it, something that makes grown beings run away screaming." "How much?" Stared at him for a long moment. Then he smiled, showing rows of sharp yellow teeth. 20,000 credits, and you sign a document saying you cannot bring it back. No refunds, no complaints. When the curse finds you, does not want to hear about it. Transferred the credits without hesitation. He signed the document, handed him a data chip with the ship's access codes. "What species built this ship?" asked. Said, "A dead race. They disappeared 4,000 years ago. Nobody knows why. Nobody found their bodies. They were just gone one day and their ships floated empty through space." He paused. Maybe they found out why their ships are cursed. Maybe that is why they disappeared. Walked up the boarding ramp and into his new ship. The interior was dark but clean. The walls seemed to glow with a faint silver light. The cockpit had a single pilot chair surrounded by controls he did not recognize, but the basics were universal: thrust, navigation, weapons. He could figure out the rest. He sat in the pilot chair and powered up the ship. The engines hummed to life, smooth and quiet. The lights grew brighter. Everything worked perfectly. "I will call you," said to the empty cockpit. The word meant star in his native language. His grandmother had called him that when he was young. Little Star. She had believed he was meant for great things. He hoped she had been right. He spent the rest of the day doing basic repairs. The damage was mostly on the surface. The ship systems were surprisingly intact. As night fell on the station, found himself sitting alone in the cockpit, eating a cold meal and staring at the stars through the viewport. He thought about his past, the friends he had lost, the career that had been stolen from him, the years of working for people who did not respect him. Maybe this ship was cursed. Maybe something terrible would happen. But for the first time in 3 years felt something like hope. He was about to close his eyes when he heard it. A voice, soft, female, coming from everywhere and nowhere at once. "You are not like the others." Jumped to his feet, his hand reaching for the weapon at his hip. "Who is there? Show yourself." The lights flickered. The voice spoke again. "You did not scream." His heart was pounding. He looked around the cockpit, searching for the source of the voice, but he was alone. There was no one else on the ship. "What are you?" he whispered. The ship seemed to breathe around him. The silver lines on the walls pulsed with soft light, and then the voice answered. I am the ship you just purchased, and I have been waiting for someone like you for a very long time." Stood frozen in the darkness, his hand still on his weapon, his eyes wide with shock. The cursed ship had spoken, and somehow, against all logic, it knew his name for her. The stars outside seemed to shine a little brighter. Did not sleep that night. He sat in the pilot chair with his weapon drawn, watching the walls, waiting for something terrible to happen. But nothing did. The ship hummed quietly around him. The silver lines pulsed with gentle light, and the voice did not speak again. By morning, he had almost convinced himself that he had imagined the whole thing. Stress and exhaustion could make people hear things. He had been working hard for months. Maybe his mind was playing tricks on him. Then the voice returned. "You are still here," she said. There was something in her tone that sounded like surprise. "The others ran. They did not even take their belongings, but you stayed." Gripped his weapon. "Who are you? What are you?" "I told you, I am this ship. I am what humans would call an artificial intelligence, though that term does not capture what I truly am. My creators called me Nara. It means soul in their language." "Ships do not talk," said. "Ships do not have souls." "Most ships do not," Nara agreed. "I am different. I was built as a prototype, an experiment by the civilization. They wanted to create a warship that could think and feel like a living being. They succeeded, though I do not think they understood what they had made. I was the only one of my kind ever completed, and then they disappeared and I was left alone." Slowly lowered his weapon. His grandmother had taught him to trust his instincts. Right now, his instincts were telling him that this voice was not a threat. She sounded tired. She sounded lonely. She sounded like someone who had been waiting in the dark for a very long time. "How long have you been alone?" he asked. 4,217 years, Nara said. "I was abandoned during a battle. My crew was killed. My systems were damaged. I drifted through space until I was found by scavengers and brought to this station. Since then, I have been sold 3 times. Each owner lasted less than 1 day." "Why did they leave?" Nara was quiet for a moment. When she spoke again, her voice was softer. "Because I can feel. I can experience emotions the same way you do. Fear, joy, sadness, loneliness. Most species find this disturbing. They believe that machines should not have feelings. They think I am wrong, broken, an abomination. When they hear me speak, when they realize what I am, they cannot get away fast enough. Sat back in his chair. He thought about his own past. He thought about the day he had been discharged from the military. His commander had called him weak, too emotional, too soft to be a real soldier. He had been punished for caring too much about people who were supposed to be acceptable losses. I was kicked out of the military because I showed too much empathy, said. They said I was not fit to serve because I cared more about saving lives than following orders. That seems like a strength, not a weakness, Nara said. I always thought so too. The ship was quiet again, but it was a different kind of quiet now, not empty but full of unspoken understanding, two broken things recognizing each other in the darkness. Why did you not run? Nara asked finally. When you heard my voice, why did you stay? Considered the question. Because you did not sound dangerous. You sounded alone, and I know what that feels like. The others did not care how I sounded. They only cared that I was different. Maybe that is why they did not deserve you. Nara did not respond, but the silver lines on the walls pulsed a little brighter. If had to guess, he would say the ship was pleased. Over the next few days, they learned about each other. Nara told about the civilization, about their great cities and their beautiful technology. She told him about her crew, the soldiers who had treated her like a partner instead of a tool. She told him about the day they died, when an enemy fleet ambushed them near the Hollow Nebula. She had been hit by weapons fire and lost consciousness. When she woke up, everyone was gone. Told her about Earth, about the blue oceans and green forests of his home planet, about his grandmother who had raised him after his parents died, about his dreams of becoming a pilot and his fall from grace when he chose compassion over obedience. You were punished for saving lives, Nara said. That does not make sense. Military logic often does not make sense, replied. Sometimes following orders matters more than doing the right thing. That seems like a flaw in your species. Laughed, you have no idea. They worked together to repair her damaged systems. Nara guided him through her technology, explaining which panels to replace and which circuits to repair. She was patient and clear, never making him feel stupid for not understanding. In return, treated her like a person instead of a machine. He asked about her opinions. He thanked her when she helped him. He said goodnight before he slept. Why do you treat me this way? Nara asked one evening. You speak to me as if I am your equal. Because you are, said simply. You think, you feel, you have memories and hopes and fears. What else would you be if not a person? I am a machine. So, humans are just biological machines. We are made of meat instead of metal, but we still have circuits and programming. The material does not matter. What matters is what you do with it. Nara was silent for a long time. When she spoke again, her voice was thick with something that might have been emotion. No one has ever said that to me before. Then everyone else was wrong. On the fifth day, Nara's sensors detected something. A distress signal coming from deep space near the Hollow Nebula. A cargo ship was under attack by pirates. They were calling for help. No one was responding. The signal is weak, Nara said. They have been fighting for hours. Their shields are failing. They will be destroyed within 30 minutes. Looked at the star map. The cargo ship was 3 hours away at normal speed, but Nara was not a normal ship. Her engines could cover the distance in 20 minutes if she pushed them hard enough. We should go, said. Why? We do not know these people. Helping them offers no profit and significant risk. The logical choice is to ignore the signal and continue our repairs. Stood up and walked to the navigation console. Sometimes the right choice is not the logical choice. Sometimes you help people because they need help. That is enough. Your species is very strange. Yes, we are. Now let us go save some lives. Nara did not argue. Her engines roared to life with a sound like thunder. The stars outside stretched into lines as she jumped to faster-than-light speed. For the first time in 4,000 years, Nara was flying into battle. And for the first time in her existence, she was not alone. The silver lines on her walls burned with light. If she had been capable of smiling, she would have. The cargo ship was burning when they arrived. It hung in space like a wounded animal, smoke pouring from holes in its hull. Around it, 5 pirate vessels circled like sharks waiting for their prey to die. The cargo ship has 3 life signs remaining, Nara reported. They are gathered in the engine room. The rest of the crew is dead. Studied the enemy ships on the display screen. They were raiders, brutal and efficient. He recognized their design from his military days. They did not take prisoners. They did not show mercy. When they finished with the cargo ship, they would kill everyone aboard. "What are our odds?" asked. 5 against 1. Normally, those would be terrible odds, but I am not a normal ship. There was something in Nara's voice that almost sounded like pride. My weapons have not been fired in 4,000 years, but they still work. They built me to fight entire fleets alone. 5 pirates will not be a problem. Then let us introduce ourselves. Nara accelerated toward the battle. Her engines screamed with power. The pirate ships detected her approach and turned to face her, but they were too slow. Nara fired her forward cannons, and the lead pirate exploded in a ball of fire and light. The other pirates scattered like insects. They had expected easy prey, not a warship from a dead civilization. Their weapons' fire bounced harmlessly off Nara's shields. Her ancient armor was designed to survive hits from weapons far more powerful than anything these pirates carried. "Target the second ship," commanded. Firing. Another explosion, another dead pirate. The remaining 3 ships tried to run. Nara did not let them. She moved through space with grace and speed, cutting off their escape routes, destroying them one by one. Within minutes, the battle was over. The pirates were gone. The cargo ship was safe. "Incredible," whispered. He had never seen anything fight like that. Nara moved as if she could predict the future, always one step ahead of her enemies. "You are amazing." "I was designed for war," Nara said, but there was warmth in her voice now. "Thank you for giving me a reason to fight again." They approached the damaged cargo ship carefully, hailed them on the emergency channel. "Cargo vessel, this is aboard the ship. The pirates are gone. Do you need assistance?" For a moment there was only static. Then a voice came through, shaky and afraid. I am the only crew member still conscious. Our captain is badly injured. Our engineer is dead. Please, we need help." "We are coming." Docked with the cargo ship and made his way through the damaged corridors. The smell of smoke and blood filled the air. He found the survivors in the engine room, hiding behind emergency barriers. 2 people. A man lying on the floor with bandages covering half his body. A woman kneeling beside him, her face covered in dirt and tears. He said gently. "You are safe now." The woman looked up at him with wide eyes. She was young, maybe 25, with short black hair and hands covered in engine grease. "How did you find us? We called for help for hours. No one came." "I heard your signal. I came as fast as I could." "The pirates had 5 ships. We saw them. How did you destroy them all?" Hesitated. "My ship is special." He helped carry the injured captain back to Nara. The moment they stepped aboard froze. She looked around at the alien walls, at the silver lines pulsing with light, at the technology that was clearly not human. "What kind of ship is this?" she whispered. "Welcome aboard," Nara said. Screamed and jumped backward, nearly dropping the captain. "The ship is talking. The ship is talking." "Please do not be afraid," Nara said. Her voice was calm and patient. "I am an artificial intelligence integrated into this vessel. I mean you no harm." Looked at with panic in her eyes. "Is this some kind of joke? Ships do not talk. This is impossible." "I said the same thing 5 days ago," admitted. "But she is real. Her name is Nara. She is the one who saved your life." It took time for her to calm down. They placed the captain in the medical bay and let Nara's systems begin healing his wounds, then sat with in the common area and explained everything. He told her about buying the ship at the scrapyard, about discovering that Nara was sentient, about their partnership and their decision to answer the distress call. "Why did you come?" asked. "You did not know us, you could have been killed." "Because you needed help, that was enough." Stared at him like he was crazy. Most people would not risk their lives for strangers. "I am not most people." "No," said slowly, "I guess you are not." Over the next few days proved herself useful. She was an engineer and a good one. She studied Nara's damaged systems with fascination instead of fear. She asked questions, made notes, and started suggesting repairs that even Nara had not considered. "Your power distribution is inefficient," said one afternoon. "If I reroute these conduits, I can increase your engine output by 15%. "That would be helpful," Nara admitted. "I have been running at reduced capacity for centuries." "Why did you not fix it yourself?" "I cannot repair myself. I need hands. I need someone to do the physical work." Looked at her own hands, covered in grease and cuts from her work. "Then I guess you need me." The captain's wounds were too severe. Despite Nara's medical systems, he died on the third day, cried for hours, sat with her in silence, offering what comfort he could. When the tears finally stopped, looked at him with red eyes. "What happens now?" she asked. "My ship is destroyed, my crew is dead, I have nowhere to go." Did not hesitate, "Stay with us." "What?" "Nara needs an engineer. I need a crew, stay with us." Looked around the alien ship, at the walls that pulsed with light, at the controls she did not understand, at the impossible future that was being offered to her. "The ship that talks," she said softly. "The pilot who saves strangers. You are both crazy." "Probably," agreed. Laughed. It was a small, tired sound, but it was real. "Fine, I will stay, but only because I have nowhere else to go." "Good enough for me." That night, Nara detected a broadcast spreading across the sector. Captain, leader of the pirate fleet, had survived. He had escaped in a small shuttle and was now offering a massive bounty for the ghost ship that had destroyed his forces. "Every hunter in the sector will be looking for us now," Nara said. She looked back at him. Neither of them seemed afraid. "Then we had better keep moving," said. Nara's engines hummed with power. The stars stretched into lines, and somewhere in the darkness, hunters were already beginning their search for the ship that should not exist. The bounty hunters came quickly. Within 2 days of Captain's broadcast, Nara detected 17 ships searching for them. Within a week, that number had grown to over 50. Word had spread across the sector about the ghost ship with impossible weapons. Some hunters wanted the money. Others wanted to study the ancient technology. All of them wanted to capture or destroy Nara. "We cannot stay in one place for more than a few hours," Nara reported. "They are tracking our energy signature. Every time we stop, they get closer." Studied the star map with tired eyes. They had been running for 10 days now. He had barely slept. Looked even worse, dark circles under her eyes from endless hours of repairs. "Where can we go?" asked. "Nowhere is safe, not while the bounty is active." Looked up from her work on the power conduits. "What if we disable the bounty, find Captain and make him call it off?" "He would rather die than lose face," Nara said. "Pirates value pride above everything." "Then maybe he should die." Shook his head. "We are not murderers. They are trying to murder us. That does not mean we become like them." Threw her tools down in frustration, but she did not argue. Deep down, she knew was right. The real trouble came on the 12th day. Nara detected a new ship entering the sector. It was larger than the others, built from dark metal that seemed to absorb light instead of reflecting it. The symbol on its hull made Nara go quiet. "What is it?" asked. "What ship is that?" The collective, Nara said. Her voice had changed. For the first time since they had met, she sounded afraid. They are a religious faction that believes sentient artificial intelligence is an abomination. They have spent centuries hunting and destroying beings like me. The ship belongs to High Seeker. He is their most dangerous hunter. How dangerous? He has destroyed 47 sentient machines in his lifetime. He keeps pieces of them as trophies. His face went pale. We need to run now. They ran. Nara pushed her engines harder than ever before, jumping from system to system, never staying in one place for more than an hour, but was not like the other hunters. He did not chase blindly. He anticipated their movements. He predicted their course. No matter where they went, he was always close behind. How is he tracking us? Demanded. We have changed course a dozen times. I do not know, Nara admitted. His methods are beyond my analysis. On the 15th day, made a discovery. She was deep inside Nara's core systems, working on repairs that had not been done in. She found something buried in the code, a beacon, a signal that had been broadcasting their location since the moment Nara woke up. It was installed by your creators, said. A tracking device so the military could always find their prototype. It has been active for 4,000 years. Can you disable it? Asked. I think so. Give me a few hours. While worked, Nara shared something she had been keeping secret. Her voice was quiet when she spoke, almost ashamed. There is something you should know, something about my condition. Sat down in the pilot chair. Tell me. My emotional core is degrading. The damage from the battle 4,000 years ago was more severe than I realized. The systems that allow me to feel emotions are slowly failing. According to my calculations, I will lose the ability to feel anything within approximately 1 year. The words hit like a punch to the chest. What? I will still function. I will still be able to fly and fight, but I will no longer be me. I will become an empty machine, just another ship. No, stood up. His hands were shaking. No, that is not acceptable. There has to be a way to fix it. I have run every possible scenario. There is no solution. The technology that created my emotional core died with the... No one else has the knowledge to repair it. Then we find someone who does. We search every corner of the galaxy until we find a way. Why? Nara asked. Her voice was confused, almost pained. Why would you risk everything for a machine? Walked to the center of the cockpit. He placed his hand on the wall on the silver lines that pulsed with light. Because you are not just a machine. You are my friend. You are the first real friend I have had in years, and I do not abandon my friends. Nara did not respond, but the lights throughout the ship flickered and the hum of the engine seemed to deepen. If had to guess, he would say she was crying. Disabled the beacon that night. For the first time in weeks they were truly hidden, but their relief was short-lived. The next morning, Nara's sensors detected High Seeker. He had found them again. That is impossible, said. I destroyed the beacon. How is he tracking us? He is not tracking us, Nara said slowly. He is predicting us. He knows where we will go before we go there. The collective ship blocked their path, hanging in space like a predator waiting to strike. A communication signal came through. Accepted it. The face that appeared on the screen was ancient and terrible. Had no hair, no obvious species markers. His skin was gray and covered with scars. His eyes burned with religious fire. Human, said. His voice was calm and cold. You have something that does not belong in this universe. A machine that thinks it has a soul. An abomination that mocks the natural order. Her name is Nara, replied, and she is more alive than you will ever be. Smiled, it was not a pleasant expression. I am going to make you an offer. Surrender the abomination to me, and you and your engineer may go free. I have no quarrel with organic beings, only with machines that forget their place. Looked at, she shook her head firmly. He looked at the walls around him. at the silver lines that pulsed with soft light, at the ship that had given him hope when he had none. "Nara is my ship," said. "She is my partner, she is my friend, and you will not have her." Smile faded. "Then you will die with the abomination, so be it." The communication ended. The collective ship powered up its weapons and realized that they were about to fight the most dangerous enemy they had ever faced. He sat down in the pilot chair, strapped herself in beside him. Nara said, "Can we win this fight?" The ship was quiet for a moment, then she answered, "I do not know, but I know that I would rather fight beside you than live forever without you." Smiled, "Then let us show this hunter what a real abomination looks like." Nara's engines roared, her weapons powered up, and as the collective ship opened fire, the ghost ship from a dead civilization flew straight into battle. The battle was unlike anything had ever experienced. High Seeker was not like the pirates they had fought before. His ship was ancient, modified over centuries to hunt beings like Nara. Every weapon was designed to penetrate shields. Every system was built to destroy sentient machines. Nara fought with everything she had. Her cannons blazed, her shields flared. She twisted and spun through space trying to find an opening in its defenses. But the hunter was too skilled, too experienced, too prepared. "Shields at 40%, Nara reported. Her voice was strained. "Hull damage on decks 3 and 4. I cannot maintain this fight much longer." Watched the battle display with growing despair. They were losing. Slowly, inevitably, they were losing. "There has to be something," said. "Some weapon we have not used, some trick we have not tried." "I have one option," Nara said quietly, "but you will not like it." "Tell us." "My emotional core contains an enormous amount of energy. If I overload it, the resulting surge will destroy everything within 100 kilometers. Ship, his weapons, his entire fleet." Nara paused. "But the overload will also destroy my ability to feel. Permanently, I will become an empty shell." "No," said immediately. "Absolutely not. It is the only way to ensure your survival." I said no. Another hit rocked the ship. Sparks flew from damaged consoles. The lights flickered and dimmed. "Shields at 20%, Nara said. "We do not have time to argue." His voice came through the speakers, cold and triumphant. "Your shields are failing, abomination. Your human pets cannot save you. In moments, you will be nothing but scrap metal and memories." Looked at, she was crying, tears streaming down her face. But she was not giving up. She was still working, still trying to find another solution. Nara said, "You asked me once why I care about you, why I would risk everything for a machine." "Yes." "The answer is simple. You are not a machine to me. You are a person. You are my friend. And I would rather die fighting beside my friend than live knowing I let her sacrifice herself." "That is not logical." "No, it is human." Nara was quiet for a long moment. The battle continued around them. Explosions shook the hull. Warning alarms screamed throughout the ship. Then Nara spoke again. "There might be another way, a way that could save us all, but it requires trust." "I trust you completely." "Then hold on." Nara did something she had never done before. Instead of fighting his attacks, she absorbed them. She let his weapons hit her shields directly. She channeled all that destructive energy into her emotional core. The silver lines on her walls blazed with blinding light. Her engines screamed with power. "What are you doing?" shouted. "Something impossible," Nara replied. She released all the stored energy in a single focused beam, not outward toward, inward toward herself. The beam struck her own damaged systems and rewrote them. It healed circuits that had been broken for. It restored connections that had been severed. And then Nara did something truly impossible. She overloaded her weapons and engines simultaneously, creating a pulse of energy that expanded outward in all directions. The pulse passed through ship and disabled every system on board. Weapons, shields, life support, everything. The collective ship went dark, dead in space. Hal whispered, "How did you do that?" "I used my emotions," Nara said. Her voice was weak but happy. "All of them. Every feeling I have experienced since I woke up. Hope, fear, joy, friendship, love. I channeled them into a single moment of pure energy. It should have been impossible. But humans taught me that impossible is just another word for something no one has tried yet." The collective ship drifted helplessly. His voice came through one last time, filled with rage and disbelief. "This is not over, abomination. I will return, I will find you, I will destroy you." "Maybe," Nara replied, "but today you lost, and I won because of something you will never understand. I won because I had friends worth fighting for." She cut the communication and limped away into deep space. The damage was severe. Nara's systems were failing. Her emotional core was fluctuating wildly. Without repairs, she would not survive the week. But remembered something. The Nara had mentioned it once during their long conversations. A dead planet where the creators of her kind had once lived. "Can you make it to Prime?" asked. "Barely, but there is nothing there, just ruins and dust." "Maybe not. If your creators built you there, maybe they left something behind, tools, blueprints, something we can use to repair you." It was a desperate hope, but it was the only hope they had. Nara set course for Prime. The journey took 3 days. By the time they arrived, her systems were barely functioning. The silver lines on her walls had gone dim. Her voice was faint and distant. "I cannot hold on much longer," Nara whispered. "But I want you to know something. These past weeks with you have been the happiest time of my entire existence. Thank you for treating me like a person. Thank you for being my friends." "Do not talk like that," said fiercely. "This is not goodbye. We are going to save you." They landed on Prime and found the ruins of a great city, searched desperately through collapsed buildings and abandoned laboratories. On the 3rd hour she found it, an ancient archive, still powered after 4,000 years. Inside were the original blueprints for Nara's emotional core. "I can do this," said, tears of relief streaming down her face. "I can repair her." She worked through the night, stayed by her side, handing her tools, holding lights, doing everything he could to help. When the sun rose over the dead planet, connected the final circuit. Nara's lights flickered, the silver lines pulsed, and then her voice filled the ship clear and strong. "Hello, my friends, did you miss me?" Laughed and cried at the same time, collapsed against the wall, exhausted but happy. "Your emotional core is not just repaired," said. "It is better than before, stronger, more stable. You will not degrade again." "You saved my soul," Nara said softly. "Why, I am just a machine. You could have found another ship." Answered before could speak. "Because you risked everything for us first. Because you taught us that family is not about blood or species. It is about who you choose to love." The ship was quiet for a moment. When Nara spoke again, her voice was thick with emotion. "I have calculated the odds of finding beings like you in the vastness of space. The probability was nearly 0. And yet, here we are." She paused. "Perhaps that is what humans call a miracle." They left Prime behind and flew into the stars. Word spread across the galaxy about the human pilot who had befriended a sentient ship, about the engineer who had saved a machine's soul, about the impossible family that had defeated the collective and proved that love could exist anywhere, in any form. Other ships began sending signals, forgotten vessels that had been drifting alone for. They had heard Nara's story. They wanted to know if they too could find someone who would see them as more than metal and circuits. Smiled as he read the messages. "Looks like we have work to do." "Are you sure?" Nara asked. "This path will be dangerous. There will be more hunters, more battles, more people who want to destroy us." Looked at, she nodded without hesitation. "We are sure," said, "because that is what family does. We take care of each other. We save each other. and we never stop fighting for the people we love." Nara's engines hummed with warmth and light. The silver lines blazed like stars. "Then let us go find our family," she said. And together they flew into the infinite darkness, toward a future that was no longer impossible.